let's get into our third topic here. And Drew, take it over. We got an article you need to read here. What do you got?
Right, yeah, mine muted? Okay. The Missouri lawmaker wants to make evolution teaching optional. And it's Cass County, Missouri. A lawmaker from Cass County believes that the Missouri General Assembly should allow parents to opt out of evolution teaching to their children. Second-term Representative Rick Bratton said his bill is an attempt to address his concern about teaching evolution in a way that is more palatable to lawmakers and his last three unsuccessful efforts. The previous efforts would have been mandated how schools teach evolution, requiring that it be taught alongside a biblical perspective, referred to as intelligent design or creationism. This year's effort keeps the curriculum as is and uses the language of choice. He says what his bill would do would allow parents to opt out of natural selection teaching. It would not prohibit the child from going through biology for learning about cell structure, DNA, and the building blocks of life. But Bratton contends public schools teach Darwinian theory as fact and says kids who question it are often ridiculed. Says our schools basically mandate that we teach one side. It's an indoctrination because it is not an objective approach.
Awesome. And the reason why we're bringing up this topic once again, and we're basically hitting Missouri this time, is because this is an issue in America, at least in America, that we want to really fucking discuss and really bring up, hopefully as often as we can. As these stories come along, we're going to discuss them because this is a problem, and these creationists are trying to get through certain loopholes, and this is a great segue into our special guest tonight, Aaron Ross. So, Drew, take it away. What do you want to say on this topic, and then we'll go to Paul and TJ.
Well, I think it's no big surprise here. He even says that something along the lines of he doesn't think evolution should be taught without, the alternative, as if there was an alternative, Yeah, he says there was even people that they were interviewing saying, something along the lines of evolution isn't taught in the Bible, therefore we shouldn't be teaching it in public schools. Of course, this just kind of goes to show you how horrible most people have as an understanding of the separation of church and state in America. But, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, what's disturbing about this is that evolution is the best explanation that science can come up with, and it's the most it's the best theory with the least amount almost no evidence against it.
Yes, correct. That's what I was going to say. There's no evidence that would
there's no evidence against it. That's why science follows that line of reasoning. And for them to say, okay, look, science is right about your electricity and figuring out technology and getting your car to work and everything else. But wherever it interferes with the Bible, because keep in mind, if the Bible has said anything about thou shalt not ride on four wheels, these people would be, going for three-wheeled vehicles. They really don't give a shit. They just want to go against anything that is against their what they believe, and if it's going to be taught scientifically. If the Bible said anything about gravity, they would be. Oh, actually, I guess it does because Jesus walks on water. So miracles.
Exactly.
They just don't give a shit.
Drew, what else you got on this?
That's just about it, man. It's
Paul?
just
Okay.
one of the things that I'd seen is there are a bunch of states that have been trying to do the same thing. Let's see, Kentucky is one. Louisiana and Mississippi have a history with this. Tennessee legislators have been attempting to stifle teaching of evolution and climate change. So It's kind of just like the South almost lights up on the map when it comes to states that are trying to get rid of evolution teaching.
Yeah, and in your state, pretty hardcore somewhat too.
Yeah,
Texas.
And Aaron will tell you more about that.
Yeah,
I'm from Texas as well. Yeah.
Paul?
Louisiana and Tennessee, don't they both allow creationist crap in public schools?
I think most of them do. Most of the southern states allow both.
Yeah, it's
a little bit of both.
Yeah, there is a law. I think Mississippi and Tennessee, and I believe in Texas. Maybe I don't know. Aaron Rock could touch on that. But yeah, Tennessee and Mississippi, we actually did on this topic, and yeah, it's basically there's ways they can get around it to teach it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
it's not like
we had a court case that tells them they can't fucking do it. it's not science. You can't teach creationism in the classroom
Well,
because there is no
Kitzmiller
goddamn
versus
science
Dover.
behind it.
Kitzmiller versus Dover in Pennsylvania. Yeah, Dover, Pennsylvania.
They put all the stickers in the front covers of the science books saying that like evolution is just a theory and blah blah blah. Like
So is gravity. Go fuck yourself.
Exactly, but they can't put that in. They get these things passed because they put people in committees, and they don't. If you are an outspoken atheist, you don't get in those committees, and it's slowly going to change as we become more and more comfortable with it. But the more of us that are out there talking about it, the better it is to make people feel more comfortable about being open with it. You should feel foolish when you have foolish beliefs. When you believe in foolish things, it's okay to feel like a fool.
Yeah,
and it's okay to point you out as a fool as well.
Go, Paul.
But remember, they're not fools. We're fools because the fool in his heart says there is no God.
Yeah, happy late Atheist Day. Atheist Day was just a few days ago, according to these same kind of morons.
My good buddy Jack Johnson, I gotta give him a shout out. 1212. I haven't seen you in a while, brother, man. Welcome to the show, man. It's been a long time. But
maggots, how do they work?
yeah, I mean, like, how I look at it is, it's just creationist. They're claiming objectivity. There's no objective point in creationism. There will never be. What's happening is they're grasping at straws right now, and they're going for their small straws right now, and they're trying to do what they can to implement some kind of law, or laws, and it's not going to work, man. It's not going to work.
They have to continually grasp at straws because creationism is not meant to have any kind of proof. Correct. Creationism is a story in which everything around you is evidence of the story that you already believe. There are thousands of creation myths, like real creation myths, and you can't prove any of them totally wrong to a person that honestly believes it's true. If a person honestly believes that the world is being carried on the back of a fucking turtle or some shit, then you're not going to convince them otherwise. And they're going to want to indoctrinate everyone else to believe their same stupid bullshit because they're convinced that it's right. And making fun of them is really the only fucking real alternative. Having honest discourse with these people
you
is
can tease them, but I think education is the big issue here. Education. We need to educate the fucking people that are stupid, that don't want to use reason and logic. Of course, we have to do this. This is why we're activists here. That's why we do what we do here. And another, I want to bring up a statistic from 2012, global rating on science, which is PISA, which is Public for International Student Assessment. In science, 22 education systems scored above the United States average, up from 18 in 2009. I'm like, I'm sure this has something to do with it in some of the school systems, in some of the areas, of course, you know what I mean? And we got to look at the textbooks, how old are they? What kind of material are being taught to these kids?
Keep in mind, most of those textbooks come from Texas.
Where it's controlled by fucking retards.
Oh, shit.
I mean, creationists.
I mean, Aaron Raw.
No. If he controlled it, it'd be good textbooks, man.
Yeah, exactly.
No. If the atheists did it, and they'd be good textbooks. No. It's
I
always.
don't even take it that far. I don't say if atheists controlled it, everything would be better. I just know that if the Christian creationists controlled it, it would be a lot fucking worse.
Yeah.
Stick with the facts. Stick with the science. Even if the science is wrong, you're still teaching it to the best of our ability.
And that's what's great about science. And that's what's great about science, because science admits that, we don't know everything. Okay, there's gaps in these theories. We understand that. But the evidence that we have that proves this, we know it's fact, okay? We have it, but you can't implement, like they would, God of the gaps argument. Well, it's creation. God did it. Okay, well, you don't have, that's your subjective point of view, and it's bullshit. When you look at I always bring up Kitzmiller versus Dover. It's prime. We cannot forget this court case, because the judge was a conservative Christian. I forget his name. He was a conservative Christian, okay? And then all these scientists came out and they said, what's your case on intelligent? Bacteria flagella. Oh yeah, an irreducible complexity. Well, no, it's been debunked by the scientific community at large. It's not evidence. It's not scientific evidence, and they got hit hard on that. And it's a main focal point when it comes to intelligent design is irreducible complexity. They got knocked down with it, man.
The God of the gaps isn't always such a bad thing.
Krauss said, he goes, that's just an easy fucking thing to. It's an easy thing to debunk.
Look, the
easy
God of the
issue to
gaps
debunk.
isn't
It's
always
stupid.
such a bad thing, because you look
It's
at
an easy
people
out.
like the Catholic Church, who now their gap is closing because they believe they support evolution now. That now they're saying, okay, we support evolution, we believe in it, but God is the one that started. Well, the God of the gaps, the beautiful thing about having that God of the gaps,
You don't
is
need evidence.
the gaps get smaller.
Exactly.
Get smaller and smaller and smaller, and eventually people say, I don't need the God to fill the gaps anymore.
Correct.
So
There's
I
no
don't
need
have
to
a
have the
huge
God in the
problem.
gaps in the first place.
I don't
Only
have
the
a
gaps
huge
in their
problem
life,
with
maybe.
God of the gaps people, because they can be proven wrong.
And God fills the gap in your life too, because when people are
They're better than the
they-
creationists who say,
Mhm.
like, I believe in this story and there's no changing it. 2 + 2 = 5 in the Bible means I believe 2 + 2 = 5. Those people are, you cannot fucking reason with the
No.
people who say, like,
Nope.
well, you can't explain this. Well, fine, but if we can't explain that, your argument's gone, and then you'll have to move on to the next. You can't explain this, and as we learn to explain things, those gaps get smaller, and those people become convinced that maybe their
Mhm.
religion is bullshit. So I have less of a problem with those kind of people than I do with, like, creationists.